What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video. 6.24 is going to be much longer of a patch than normal while I wait for Season 7 for 7.1. Apparently, according to Riot, we're going to have to wait until after the holidays for 7.1 to hit. There are still some problem champions, though, that need to be fixed right now. So Riot have actually released a hotfix, which hits today, which we're going to go over, and also some changes in 7.1 that I've stalked that haven't been announced yet, but might be happening. There's no Camille nerfs in there, which I'm pretty pissed about, but something good, at least. Me, a Foxdrop, and a Plays TV are doing a December, Christmas, New Year's giveaway. We have $1,000 of RP to give away and some Steel Series as well. We just want to say thank you for an amazing year, basically, that we've both had. We owe you guys a lot, and we wanted to give something back. So there's going to be 10 winners of $100 of RP each, and 2 winners of 2 Steel Series gear each. It's really easy to enter. We've made it super simple. You follow the link in the description, confirm your entries, takes less than a minute, and that is it. All the details are below, so good luck, and thank you for watching our stuff. I'm going to put timestamps down below. You can skip the theory or stalking I've done and go to the actual hotfix changes which hit today if you want to, but the first things are like maybe changes. I've done some digging and I found this stuff. The first one is Rengar might be getting his rework reverted. Now, I'm pretty sure the comment that I found this on has been deleted before I could screenshot it. It was on the Riot boards and it was very vague. I'm guessing someone higher up told him to delete it, but if Rengar nerfs aren't enough, then he might be getting the rework reverted. That's basically what it says. Obviously, I can't prove this anymore though, so don't take this as a definite or anything like that, just a maybe. It makes sense because Rengar's rework has been a pretty big fail, to be honest, if you think about it, right? They tried to give him more counterplay and less one shot, but that's probably the opposite of what happened. The guaranteed crit means that just more burst in less than a second as soon as he jumps onto you. You have the W crowd control immunity. Your Q does AoE damage now as well. I'm not saying they are going to do this. I'm not saying they're going to revert it. They're probably just going to nerf him over and over again, but it's possible like they did with Kog'Maw, so just be aware. I think it's kind of cool to keep in mind at least. Nidalee might be getting some changes though for Season 7 in jungle and also lane Nidalee as well. We're going to see how she does in 6.24 apparently, but she's pretty garbage at the moment. They specifically say as well they want to keep lane Nidalee alive as well as jungle Nidalee, so we'll have to see what actually happens, but probably we're going to see some changes pop onto the PB at some point this patch. Ignite is another surprise. Actually, there might be a potential buff to get people to take it over exhaust. Right, I think part of the reason why assassins haven't done well is because everyone takes exhaust. On the other side of things, we might see some exhaust nerfs. Who knows? This is, by the way, is a complete guess. They've only mentioned potential ignite buffs. Kalista as well. The old changes, remember, that we talked about probably 2 weeks ago now, have been scrapped at the moment because they want to see how Fervor and the bulk buffs do on her, how they do with her, if they increase her win rate or anything like that. Everything that I read about this though just says they are really scared of messing this one up because it's really hard to balance Kalista anyway, and they know if they buff her a little bit too much, then pros are going to properly abuse her. They did say if we see changes in 7.1, they will be the ones that we were going to get in 6.24, so your E would stack even when on cooldown, which is massive, and you'd only need 1 kill to get the cooldown and mana back. Fervor is better for her now as well. Blade the Ruined King is going to be better for her at the moment, but AD carries in general kind of suck in Season 7, I think it's fair to say, so it's really hard to judge Kalista because all ADs are pretty weak. The other one that's very similar to Kalista is Azir, right? And they want to really judge Rylai's properly and then maybe buff him in 7.1, but just like Kalista, they're very, very afraid of over buffing him and making him top tier again. There are 2 other things very quickly which I found kind of interesting that I did find, and one is that Kha'Zix apparently has a lot of counterplay, so like if he isn't able to get a kill upon jumping in, then he could have a tough time disengaging and stuff like that, so being grouped together is one way. Warding his jungle, so you see him leaving the jungle, is apparently counterplay to Kha'Zix, the healing and shields and stuff, and crowd control apparently shut him down. That is all according to a Rioter in one of the playtest threads as well, so this basically means that they're not likely going to nerf Kha'Zix because they see him as being able to be counterplayed. Whenever a champion, especially an assassin, gets a nerf, it's because they don't think that you're able to outplay that champion and work around his damage and actually do things to prevent it. In this case, I actually think you can do that with Kha'Zix, which is why I don't expect him to get a nerf. And I know this is kind of the opposite of what I normally say. I say like this champion's going to get a nerf or this champion's going to get a buff. And actually, it's good to know that Kha'Zix is probably going to be left alone, so he's a good champion to still play. Rylai's is another one because it just got changed, and a lot of champions who use this are now nerfed just because their itemization is nerfed. According to Medler, who is one of the head designers, the champions who got hit the most are Azir, Talia, Victor, Malzahar, and Vlad. Those are the ones they are tracking right now. Azir and Talia are getting buffs in this hotfix, which we'll get to in a second, but actually Victor and Malzahar apparently are strong anyway, so this might be just actually a good thing to bring them down in power level. Vlad is one they're testing a lot because they don't know if they want to buff him or not, but we might see something in 7.1, but likely actually they're going to leave Victor and Malzahar where they are now, even if it's not necessarily a good thing for them. So let's move on to the hotfix changes. Now those ones were the kind of theory stuff, and now this is legit legit actually in the game you're going to patch today and you're going to play with these changes. So the first one is for SHACO, and this is specifically AP SHACO. So that annoying little turd that's been running around in a solo queue at the moment is probably dead. Your Q AP ratio is down, E AP ratio is down, your R explosion damage has been reduced by 200 rank 3, which is pretty nuts. 200 damage from your ultimate is massive, but the AP ratios as well. It just means late game you're going to do so much damage. It didn't last very long, the AP SHACO stuff. You could still play it for fun, but in my opinion, AD is going to be better now. Like, AD is already good, right? AP is nerfed, so AD is better in comparison. The whole point of AP was like you do a crap ton of AoE damage in team fights, which you can't really do as much now, and you really took it for the burst aspect, I think. Like, more than anything, you just want to one-shot people and you'd burst super, super hard, but you won't be able to do that as much now, especially not late game at least. The second change might be bigger than a lot of you guys think, and this is one of the reasons I actually wanted to do this video. So LeBlanc is getting two changes. Her Q damage to minions is down from 80% to 40%, and her W rank 5 damage is down a bit as well. Now remember, by the way, this was 120% damage to minions before 6.24, then 80, and now 40. So that is a big drop in a short space of time. This is actually one of the best things about her previously. Like, she could push super hard and just roam easily, and before the rework, LeBlanc was contained more by wave clear, pushing her in over and over and keeping her under a tower. This change, actually, how they're doing this is how they killed Talia, however you want to say that, remember, as well. Exactly the same way. Also partly the way they killed Malzahar as well. This hurts way more than you think it does by reading it. Like, it doesn't seem like a massive change, but actually you would expect her to struggle more in certain matchups now. Your burst is still nuts, like completely insane, but you have to remember it might be harder now to use it if you're trying to wave clear the entire time instead of using your spells on the enemy. That's probably going to be the biggest nerf for this patch, and probably one of the smaller ones is to Rengar. So his Q damage per strike is down by 5, and his E is from 50 to 230, down 20, rank 5. I'm not sure that's going to be much difference either. I don't think this is going to really stop him one-shotting people. Like, I'm not sure if Riot realized that, but 5 damage is not really going to make a difference. Vi is still a pretty solid counter, so it's going to lower his win rate, like on stat websites and stuff, but he is really strong at the moment. We're going to have to see with the 6.24 nerfs plus this one, what that's going to do to him. Like, his passive and then these. But honestly, like, I'd expect more nerfs to come soon, or maybe even reverting the rework. Ivan is another one who is like under the radar a little bit, but he is just absolutely ridiculous at the moment. His shield is lowered by 50 rank 5, and his slow duration from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. You're dominating the jungle with the Emax right now, so this is going to bring him down a little bit. 50 damage off of it is a ton when you max this first as well. So you're getting, this is like your big damage spell, and it's suddenly got 50 damage taken off of it. He is really annoying to play against, and nobody really knows what he does that much at all. Even though he's been out for a little while now, we've had Camille afterwards, like, still nobody really knows what he does. Bad Ivans are literal garbage, honestly, but a good one is amazing. He's a random champion, right? Random concept as well, random skill set, so it's really hard to balance and understand him, I think. Another jungle change actually is smite. So it's the healing when you like smite the big monster in a camp. The heal is going to be worse. It was 100 plus 10% of your max health. Now it's 70 plus 10% of your max health. It doesn't sound like a massive deal, right? It's only 30 down, but actually that's going to be 60 because you'll smite twice on your first clear. So that's 60 less health than you would have had normally. Really, for the top tier junglers, it won't make a difference. It just means for like off meta, slower, or random picks you want to play in the jungle, they're not going to work as well, especially not early. I know I said it's not going to affect the top tier ones as much, but actually maybe people can't gank as healthy as before in their first clear. That is actually why Riot changed this. That is what they aimed it at. So if you think about a Lee Sin maybe, for example, or a Rek'Sai, like these guys want to gank really hard early. There are a lot of examples, by the way. I just pulled those two out right now for the really early ganks, but there are loads of examples. These guys are going to be the ones that hit hardest because they want to gank as soon as they hit level 3 with both of their buffs. Really, it's not going to make that much difference, but it might actually make the lane phase a little bit more secure. You're not likely going to get rammed from behind as early into the game. Azir is a tiny hotfix this patch. It's a bit more soldier damage mid-game. It doesn't really make any difference because they're literally too scared to do anything, like we said earlier. They don't want to overbuff him and make him like the best, most oppressive mid laner again. So any buffs he's going to get will be really slow and gradual, like after patch, after patch, after patch. They're going to buff him tiny amounts and just until they get him to a good level. They're not going to give him a good buff to make him OP or anything like that. Talia is actually getting a buff though. So she's been garbage for a while. She got hit by the Rylai's nerfs as well. Her Q damage is going from 60 to 140 and now it's going to be 70 to 170. So it's 30 extra damage per Q rank 5, which is going to be nice. The AP ratio is up very slightly, but actually rocks after the first one deal 40% from 50%. The idea is that you don't need as many to land to get off a lot of damage. So you don't have to have the perfect combo or you hit 5 of them or 3 of them or however many you're going to hit. You don't have to hit all of them to actually do any damage. Basically the simple way way of saying that is it's making her easier to play now, not have to like set up the perfect combo, otherwise you're screwed. I still think she's pretty bad, but she could be a bit more effective now in the right hands. And remember though, minion damage and wave push is what actually killed her. It wasn't the damage on her Q that was like nerfed or anything like that. It was just her pushing power. She didn't do the bonus damage to minions and she couldn't push really hard. She couldn't roam. This is basically what is happening to LeBlanc right now. The LeBlanc changes are definitely the biggest thing that's actually happening this hotfix patch, because it could have a major impact. Like it could just kill the champion. I don't think it's going to, because she still does loads of damage, so that's going to be fine. But honestly, the wave clear aspect is really big, and that is what started to make Talia garbage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you got all the info, and you can jump into games today and you'll know exactly what to expect today, and also what might be coming in 7.1 a little bit. But we'll go over the PB properly tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Good luck with the giveaway, but for now, let's go to the rope.